everybody, what's going on? Hope you're having a safe and awesome week. Got another dynamic duo review for you today. We're going to be doing a Kickstarter comic called Start Again. It was created, written, lettered, and designed by Jamie Mee. The art is by Tony Doya. It's colored by Sean Callahan, and it's edited by Archie Date. This was one I did an unboxing for not too long ago, and I got Sean to read it here, so we're going to talk about it, and I think we probably have some differing opinions on it, and that's totally fine. But let's get right into it. It's going to be kind of a spoiler-heavy review of this, so just fair warning for that. So we open up with a character named AJ Verma. And he's in a club, and he walks into this unisex bathroom, and he goes to open up one of the stalls, and there's a girl named Natalie using the facility at the time. And after that awkward meeting, AJ offers to buy her a drink, which leads to some sexy time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and note, this is a very adult comic. This is nowhere near for kids, maybe upper teens. But it says right there on the cover, you know, explicit content.
Yeah.
Mature readers.
Any kids that you might have watching the video right now, go ahead and just set them aside.
Yeah.
And now it's time for adult time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they get back to his pad, and they're having a little, Amazon Prime and sexy times.
Yeah.
And I still can't quite figure out what happens.
Well, see, in the midst of this, AJ has this, I think it's a hallucination. This is the first issue, so I don't know anything else about this comic. But it looks like he's having a hallucination of this redheaded woman while he's in the midst of having sex with Natalie.
Yep.
And it freaks him out.
A lot.
Like, he goes up to the balcony, and he climbs on the railing. Natalie tries to grab him, and AJ falls over the edge. Now, he falls, and he smashes right into this car, and then gets up. And this is where you find out AJ's actually a superhero. And, this is the comic came out about 2016. So, since the 2000s, everybody records everything on their phone.
Yep. So
somebody walks up to him while they're recording. He gets up, and they're like, oh my God, it's Jump. Jump is his superhero name. And poor guy, he's butt naked, swinging in the wind. And all I got to say for Jump is, I hope you have super strength, or you got a pocket dimension in those tights, because good on you, bro. Like, wow. But, getting a little crass there. I had to make the joke.
For anybody who's wondering, just picture an elephant swinging the trunk in a circle. That's literally what he's working with.
Yeah, good job. It's full frontal. Okay. So this poor guy is now on camera, butt naked. He's been outed. We end up jumping to...
I think it's 6 months later.
6 weeks later. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. This guy that videotaped him, he sold the footage. The government's now distancing themselves from him. And it feels like Natalie is the only person that's defending him on social media. Like, that's the only person outside of his roommate / friend / sidekick. They didn't give the sidekick a superhero name. They just called him James.
Yep.
And James is trying to convince AJ, dude, you need to take a shower, for one thing, because you smell. He's kind of very disheveled.
Yeah.
And, go see Natalie. He kind of gets that whole, put a hoodie and glasses on. He tries to Superman it, Clark Kent it there for a second. And he goes to Natalie's apartment. I guess it was Natalie's apartment that they were at.
Yeah, it was hers.
Okay, it was Natalie's apartment. And, he's trying to get in. The door's locked to the building or whatever. And next thing you know, there's a guy with a camcorder. Not a phone, but he's got an actual camcorder. And he comes up to AJ. He's like, hey, Jump, let's see the goods. Just really harassing him. And AJ's like, get out of my face. And the guy just won't, so he shoves him. When he shoves him, he shoves him like a super shove. And knocks this guy into like a guardrail or something.
Yep.
And people are starting to gather.
Oh my God, he killed him,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Well, before this, the guy's on the ground. He's actually kind of okay. The guy's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But then the guy decides he's going to play it up for social media and people around. Like, oh my God, he killed him. I need help. You see all that. Well, then all of a sudden it's that whole whoosh scene. He just takes off like Superman. He decides, I'm just going to go up to Natalie's balcony.
Yeah.
So comes up, familiar scene, balcony. And her balcony door is unlocked. And of course he comes in, he's looking for her, can't find her, and all of a sudden you hear, they show off in the background a little bubble. She's like, Beck, is that you? So he goes into the bathroom and opens it up. She's like, oh my God. And it's just this big, she's on the toilet holding a thing, and all you see in the corner is pregnancy test.
Yeah. And that's where the issue ends.
And that's where it ends.
So, we're going to get Sean's thoughts about it in a second. I'll go ahead and tell you, the basic premise of this was superhero meets girl story, and that's exactly what it is. So if you're going to try to read this comic and you're expecting, like, I don't know how the other issues are, okay? This is just the first issue. I think it's just the setup. But if you're expecting some big superhero extravaganza in this issue, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Mm-hmm. This is more storyline driven about what's happening to this particular superhero.
And couple, I guess.
And couple, yeah.
And I think originally when I first read it, that might have been why I came out the other end the way I did at first. And then when you think about it and what they say on the cover is where it literally says, you know, it says start again, and it says, you know, superhero meets girl story. That's exactly what it is. When you take it for what it is in that context, it's actually really, I think it's hilarious. I mean, just the awkward meeting. It's like,
yes.
You know, like how many people are going to be like in a bathroom like, oh, hey, can I buy you a drink?
Yeah.
Like that works.
After almost busting in on somebody.
Right. You know, well, technically you did bust in.
Yeah.
I mean, the full cooch shot, but, you know, just like, let's have a drink. Now, I will admit, this has actually nothing to do with the comic. Well, it does. I have a tendency to, if a character or characters are from somewhere, I will try to read the comic and talk like that in my head. So the one thing we didn't mention is that this takes place in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm reading this with an English accent, a British accent in my head. And I'm trying to, you know, and that's just how I am. That's how I enjoy stories. But the nice thing about it is the story does a great job of giving you the visuals of the characters. And I was able to hear things in my head. And you know me, I'm a big art buff. I love the scenery to tell me something. Mm-hmm. And I definitely think that's where this issue, that's my favorite thing about it.
The art.
Is the art.
Yeah.
The story is great, but the art helps bring me into it because then I can see things, I can hear things in my head. And I like it when a comic does that. So definitely kudos to you guys for that because I was able to immerse myself in the world and I felt like I was in there in my head while I was reading it for that short time.
Right. And see, and since I kind of figured this is what I was going to be getting was just the story, I really enjoyed it. The art, and I'll put a picture up here of the art. I'll try to block out any words. Maybe I can find a panel that doesn't have any words in it. But I really like this art style. And I'm not an art person, so I can't explain it. Maybe it's just a shading technique or something, but it's when they put these like dark lines, like the dark lines they had on the characters.
Yeah.
I really dig that art style. The art was really good.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those where like you said, where they use the shading, I think, you know, like you said, it made the characters pop in a different way. And it really, especially Natalie really popped on the screen, maybe more so than anybody else, it seemed like. So, and maybe that was the intent, but that's really what it felt like. And it almost seems like, hopefully in the issues going forward, we'll figure out maybe if that's an intentional thing.
Yeah.
Or if that's just the way they portrayed the character and whatnot.
And just like with most things, this is going to be I got one issue of it. Hopefully there'll be a trade. And I'll get that later so I can figure out the rest of the story because I'm really intrigued to learn about the red-headed woman at the beginning of the book that he hallucinates instead of it being Natalie.
Because didn't he see her more than once in the issue, if I remember right, or was it just that?
I think it was just that one time.
Yeah. The scary part, though, that we didn't mention about the hallucination the first time is the redhead looks almost just like Natalie.
Yeah.
Like the two of them are drawn almost identical.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's what it was, but I mean, they still haven't really outlined what AJ's powers are either. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or if he's got some kind of like PTSD thing. Because the way he freaked out seemed like something like it was almost a PTSD episode.
Yeah, well, behind, like on the synopsis on the Kickstarter, let me get into the Kickstarter for a little bit.
Yes.
It talked about his mental health not being 100%.
Okay.
So that's on top of this whole social media thing that has happened to him. So maybe in later issues they explain a little more what's going on with that. As far as his powers go, to be honest, other than the invulnerability that he showed at the beginning, I'm really wondering if it's not flight he has, if he just actually jumps, and that's why they call him Jump. Like Bartrock the Leaper, except to the extreme.
That would make a good sense.
Yeah.
Good sense. Good point.
Good point.
Good point.
I got
Good
what
point. Yeah.
I got your sense. I mean, point.
My words are not here today. So,
That's all right.
but yeah, that definitely, given and they also showed the suit, so that would definitely go in line with everything that they showed.
I really
Suit's
like
dope.
the suit. Yeah,
The suit's dope.
really dope.
So, God, what else was there? I'm actually kind of curious to see what they do, because the story in and of itself is actually told from the sidekick.
Yeah, from James.
Point of view, James.
Yeah.
See where he fits in,
Yeah.
and to see if this is like, because it's the way I'm reading it is that this was sometime down the road, and he's telling the story and it's looking back on it. So I'm curious to see where these next. I think
they're on issue 4 right now.
Yeah, they're just starting the Kickstarter for issue 4,
Yeah.
and I may look at. Well, not may. I'm going to look at the Kickstarter, because if they have it and there's the other 3 issues available, I may just, we like to back things, so we may just get on their back and get all 4 of them.
Exactly, and I think Jamie had actually put on Instagram, and please correct me in the comments, Jamie, if I'm wrong, but I think he said that they're doing an add-on thing to where you get issue 4 and you can add on the other issues.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's what he said. Please, again, Jamie, please correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, because I believe that Kickstarter is live right now.
Yeah,
So-
I think they start February 24th, I want to say, is when it came on.
Okay, well then, yeah. So after this video, we're going to go jump on the old computer. We're going to go to Kickstarter, our favorite place in the world.
Exactly.
Literally, right now, other than my favorite comic book shop, which is my local shop, which is the best shop.
That is correct.
So yeah, and if it's there, I may just go ahead and give it the old backaroo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, maybe some of the other issues will have more superhero stuff in it, but this is one of those comics where it being the story-driven comic that it is, and me knowing up front that's what it's going to be, it doesn't bother me as much as me going and getting a comic, and I won't name the comic, but it ends up being not a superhero comic at all. Like, at least this one was up front and explained to you what it was.
True.
It wasn't trying to trick you into, hey, here's a superhero comic, but it's just about superheroes trying to find a date or something.
Right. Oh, that was like one of the, I think I know which one you're talking about. There was one for me last year that I read the trade. Mm-hmm. And on the cover of the trade is a character that's in it for like maybe 5 pages of the entire trade. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. And that kind of stuff can be misleading, but at least with this one, like I said, I went into it at first with the wrong mindset and then backed myself out and put myself in with the right mindset, and it was a fantastic story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not every superhero book needs to be a superhero book.
Exactly.
They're human.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think Jamie did really well, is he's humanized this guy.
I was rooting for Jump. I was rooting for AJ.
I was
rooting for him.
So, and I'm hoping that in the next several issues that we'll get that backstory and the closure. We'll get it. And so I'm really excited to see where it goes. Not to mention just anything else that Jamie puts out, because this was so cool.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. We're gonna have some future stuff coming up. We're gonna talk about some other Kickstarters. Gonna talk about I think Garrett Gunn's got some stuff coming out in June. I'm gonna talk about his Good Boy. Really excited for that. We ended up getting Berserker #1. Really want to talk about that. That was so good. If y'all have not gotten that comic or read that comic, y'all need to get it. It is so good. We got ENIAC #1 from Bad Idea. Haven't read that yet.
It's
Going
coming.
to.
It's coming.
Going to. Super excited.
Pretty much everything Bad Idea is releasing this year.
Yeah, we got everything for our pull boxes. We've already signed up for everything that they come out with. Because Dinesh Shamdasani, anything that he's behind, you know it's going to be good. And I mean, both of these books were written by Matt Kent. I mean, come on. And I was a big fan of his Exo run when he did Exo. So
he did that. I think right now we've got, what, 3 or 4 different series that Matt's behind right now. It's like Matt is starting out strong for 20.
Yeah.
But then again, as we've said, or as I said on the live feed when I bought Fear Case #1, which is good, by the way.
That's right.
Matt Kent can do no wrong.
Yeah. He's really good.
So we're kind of getting off on a tangent here.
We're getting off on a tangent, but Jamie Meehan team, this was an excellent comic. I cannot believe that this was the first time I ever heard about it. Apparently, this was a reprint from 2016 or something like that for the Make 100 campaign on Kickstarter. But I'm so glad I found that. I'm so glad I took a chance and ordered it. And that's the thing about Kickstarter, folks. Take a chance on something. You never know what you're gonna find.
And quite frankly, all I've ever found are a bunch of diamonds in the rough.
That is very true.
There's never been a bad thing. And God, I can't even think of how much we've backed, but we've got like 3 or 4 more projects coming, and it's going to be epic.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get those in and share them with y'all. But, Hoss, you got anything else you want to add? Or?
Well, I'm going to add this a little bit to the end of the video.
All right.
It was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Edward that did this for us.
Edward Davis, yes.
So, we would like to send out the biggest thank you from all of us.
Yes.
We were all very caught off guard.
Blown away.
Very emotional. We haven't been doing this for a long time as far as the channel goes. But Edward Davis was nice enough to nominate us for an Independent Comic Creator Award for
Reviews?
Best Independent Comic Book Review on YouTube.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to send our thank you to Edward and to everybody that has watched us over this past year and a half, almost 2 years, and everybody who did submit a vote for us.
Yeah, so super appreciated, man.
So we just wanted to say thank you because for all of us, you know, we do this just because we love it, but at the same time, it's very humbling.
Oh yeah.
to have something like that happen.
Wow.
You know, so we just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's ever watched the video, all the creators who've talked with us, and everything. So thank you guys, because you know that's really in the end why we do it, other than just as a labor of love.
Yeah.
We hope to talk with everybody, and that's kind of what we've been blessed with, especially over the past year.
Yeah.
So we just thank you from myself, Jay, and Jenna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, Edward, and
Choked up.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, man, that's all right. But again, you know, always support creators, support comics if you love them, support Kickstarter projects. There's bound to be something, you know, that's not part of the big 2 or 3 that you're gonna love. And Edward in Immortal Era was definitely one of those comics that I was like, you know what, this looks really cool. And I read it and I was like, man, you know, it's stuff like this that reminds me why I read comics. Stuff from indie people, from Comics Tribe, from Source Point Press, things like that. Like I said, it just reminds me really why I love comics, and I wish nothing but all the success in the world for everybody that gets on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and is just trying to create something that people will read and people will love. We appreciate every single person that has subscribed to us, who just watches the videos, who's liked the video, who's left us a comment. We appreciate it. Anything that y'all want to talk about with us, we will always try to read and respond to everything. Like I said, this is something we just love doing, and
that's that.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Without sounding like a broken record.
Yeah,
Is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I'm repeating myself a million times, but anyway.
But again, as the initial content of this video, start again. If you can find a way to buy the book online, anywhere, support Jamie and his team.
Yes.
Get it. Go to the Kickstarter now. Get issue 4. Get all the back issues. Get caught up and have fun enjoying the rest of the story with us. And that's all we got for today. As always, stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll catch you guys next time. Later, everyone.
Later, tots.